The galactic core stands in silence, its giant communication towers glowing like blue stars, sending signals across millions of light years, and every screen in every council station shows the same message in bold red: breaking news, human colony lost. 7 billion people across the galaxy watch the broadcast as the camera shows the broken remains of a human colony world called AlianShips 9. Floating like dust in space, houses torn apart, the ground cratered, orbiting satellites burned into metal, and the colony's beautiful forests turned to smoke that now drifts like ghosts. There is no sound, no survivors, no emergency beacon, and the scanners show only cold space where human cities once lived. The broadcast narrator speaks with a shaking voice: AlianShips 9 has fallen. No life detected. No messages received. Contact lost. The galaxy reacts with shock, and every alien species watches humans with mixed emotions. Some feel fear, some feel curiosity, some feel excitement, but everyone expects one thing: humans will call the council for help, humans will cry, humans will show weakness. The VYR Dominion takes responsibility with a prideful message sent across all channels: Earth will never rise again. Let this be the proof of our power. The VYR Dominion is ancient, older than the Council itself, with a history written in blood and war. Their ships are like floating cities, their soldiers genetically built for battle, their walls covered with symbols from forgotten eras, and every species knows one rule: when the VYR attack, they finish everything. Even the Council, with all its great power, fears them because the VYR never negotiate, never accept peace, and never forgive. But something strange happens that no one expects. Earth does not respond. The Council prepares the emergency chamber, expecting human diplomats to arrive, to beg for protection or ask for justice, but the human seat stays empty. There is no message from Earth, no request, no anger, no tears, only complete silence. The galaxy watches every communication channel, waiting for a speech from the United Nations, a demand for answers, a call to the Galactic Council, but nothing comes. For 3 days, Earth remains silent like a black hole in politics. No words, no broadcasts, no orders, only deep quiet that slowly begins to scare other species. The Council shows live footage of AlianShips 9 again and again, trying to push humans to speak, but they do nothing. Every alien newscaster repeats the same sentence: why is Earth silent? Commentators debate live: maybe they fear the VYR, maybe Earth is weak, maybe humans know they cannot win, but no one understands the truth hiding behind the silence. On the 3rd day, something happens that breaks the galaxy's expectations. All human starships suddenly vanish from public space. At first the Council thinks it is a communication error, then they run deep scans, but the result is clear. Every human military ship across Earth, Mars, Luna, Titan, Ceres, and other bases disappears like smoke. Civilian ships remain, but every warship vanishes from scanners, as if someone erased them from reality. Panic starts in the Council. Did the VYR destroy the ships too? But the VYR are confused themselves. Their spies report a whisper traveling quietly through the dark web of interstellar networks. Operation Retribution begins. The words spread like wildfire in secret channels. A message without sender, without origin, only 2 words repeated by unknown sources. Many believe it is fake, some believe it is a threat, some think humans lost their mind from fear, but something else happens that proves the whisper is real. On the dark side of the moon, hidden under thick layers of shadow where sunlight never touches, a massive hidden hangar opens like a steel flower, revealing something never seen before in the galaxy. A fleet rises slowly into space, hundreds of ships built from black metal that absorbs light, their shapes sharp like blades, their engines silent like ghosts, leaving only a wave of dark ripples behind them. These ships do not exist in any Council record, not in any database, not in any blueprint, not in any military report. The Council AI scans them and returns the same result again and again: unknown class, unknown origin, unknown technology. And the watching species feel a chill run through their bodies because humans were always honest about their technology, always open about their science, and always cooperative about their defenses. But now Earth shows something hidden for decades. The fleet does not speak, does not broadcast anything, does not announce war, It simply turns toward the VYR Dominion's nearest war station orbiting a resource world. The station is huge, almost the size of a city, made to resist planetary attacks, surrounded by powerful shields, lasers, torpedo bays, and thousands of soldiers. The VYR commanders laugh when they see unknown ships appear. They send toys against us. But the next moment, reality breaks. The human ships do not fire visible weapons. No light beams, no missiles, no explosions. They fire something invisible, something that creates a silent ripple across space, like someone sliced reality with an invisible blade. The VYR station freezes mid-space, its metal skin bending inward like it is melting without heat. Its lights flicker, and the entire station suddenly collapses into a single dark point. A sphere of blackness the size of a truck, and disappears completely as if space swallowed it in one bite. No explosion, no debris, no screams, no escape pods, only total silence. The galaxy sees this live, and entire species scream in disbelief. How did they do that? Scientists shout in panic, "What weapon is this?" And military leaders stare with wide eyes, unable to understand what just happened. The VYR Dominion, which believed they were unbreakable, watches their mighty war station disappear without resistance, without sound, without even a chance to fight back. For the first time in thousands of years, the VYR feel fear. The council chambers turn chaotic, ambassadors screaming, "This is impossible. Humans never had this power. Close all borders," but no one knows what to do, because humans still do not speak, still do not show emotion, still do not explain anything. The secret fleet continues to move slowly like a shadow tide, black metal reflecting stars like knives, their engines humming at a frequency the council cannot decode, their shapes bending light like they are made of gravity. The VYR Dominion sends emergency messages, "Identify yourselves." But there is no answer, no negotiation, only deadly silence. Inside Earth's military command room buried deep under the mountains of Antarctica, screens glow red, showing the destroyed colony Alios, 9 and every face of every lost child. Generals and commanders stand in shadows, their uniforms without medals, their names hidden, because this mission is not for the Council, not for the galaxy, not for diplomacy, it is for the dead. A man sits at the center, his face hidden under a mask, his voice calm like ice. This is not war. This is punishment. No one claps, no one speaks, no one shows pride, only cold focus. The human population watches nothing, because Earth does not broadcast its retaliation. People only know their children were killed, their families wiped out, and their government promised justice without words. On Mars, families light small lamps outside their domes for Alios' 9 victims. On Titan stations, engineers cry silently while working on machines made to save humanity. On Earth, in schools and homes, people stand together in silence because they know something unstoppable has begun. In the galaxy, different species argue on broadcasts. Humans became dangerous, humans lost their minds, humans hide ancient technology. But nobody understands that this was never about power, never about empire, never about domination. It is about pain. The quiet kind of pain that does not shout, does not scream, but creates a storm inside that later destroys everything. The VYR Dominion calls the Council in panic. This weapon breaks physics. But the Council cannot help them, because for thousands of years, they punished young species, taxed new civilizations, blocked human colonies, and treated Earth like a small planet without history. And now all of that arrogance stands against something they never imagined. Scientists try to understand the human weapon. They call it a gravity knife, a weapon that uses folded space to cut objects at the atomic level, erasing mass by throwing it into micro-singularities. But even this explanation is only theory. No one knows how humans built it, when they built it, or where they learned it. Rumors start, humans found something on Titan, humans discovered old technology, humans awakened something. But there is no evidence, only fear. In every alien city, screens show the destroyed war station again and again. People holding their breath because they know the VYR are powerful monsters, but humans erase them like shadows. The galaxy breathes in stillness, every empire rethinking their choices, every general rethinking their armies, every leader asking themselves, what if humans are not weak? What if humans were always quiet because they were preparing? In the council war room, a young ambassador whispers with dry lips, "Earth will not show mercy anymore," and an older diplomat replies in shock, "Humans used to be peaceful. Now they are something else." The screens flash new data. The human fleet changes direction, moving deeper toward VYR space. The VYR Dominion orders 10 more stations to prepare, but their officers tremble, because they know they cannot block invisible weapons. The galaxy expects a speech from humans, a warning, a declaration of war, but Earth gives nothing. No words, only action. The silent fleet moves like a shadow storm, burning anger in its core, built from grief, from loss, from the broken pieces of Alios 9. Humanity has decided one thing: no more mercy. The masked human commander watches the screens, the faces of the lost people reflecting in his eyes, and speaks only 2 words with a voice that feels colder than space itself. "Prepare everything." The masked human commander's voice echoes in the underground command chamber, cold and sharp like a blade cutting through the air, and every officer's hands freeze above holographic screens as if time itself stopped when he spoke those 2 words, "Prepare everything." Lights shift from blue to deep red. Alarms do not ring loud. They pulse silently like a heartbeat, low and controlled, because human retaliation is not loud anger. It is cold, organized, like a storm that knows exactly where to strike. The galaxy does not know what is happening under the mountains of Antarctica, where machines built from black alloys hum with a soft vibration that feels like a sleeping monster breathing. Generals stand around a circular table showing VYR space, star systems marked in red, prison camps, weapon stations, and a line drawn in glowing white around the VYR's central empire. A line that means one thing: humans will push everything past that border. The masked commander looks at the stars as if he can see Alios 9 burning again, cities in dust, children with no future, families whose stories ended in seconds, and his voice remains calm and controlled. "We strike again." No warnings. No speeches. No time for them to understand technology they do not deserve. His tone carries weight, the kind that comes from losing too much. Officers don't cheer. Their faces are heavy and eyes wet from memory, because every person in this room lost someone on Alios 9. A young officer speaks with a shaking voice, "Sir, people will not know we fought for them." But the commander answers without looking at him, "This is not for history. This is for the dead." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the destruction of the VYR war station spreads like wildfire in every transmission channel. Alien reporters shout into cameras, "The VYR have been defeated by unknown human ships." Their station collapsed into darkness. Scientists argue on live panels, that weapon destroys mass by creating a micro-singularity. No, it bends space around the target. No known physics can do this, and the debates turn into panic. At a council listening post orbiting a gas giant, senior analysts replay the footage frame by frame, every pixel of the collapse studied like a new religion based on fear. But every calculation ends the same way: we have no idea how humans built this. The council chambers turn chaotic, ambassadors shouting across the round hall. This is a violation of all peace treaties. Where did Earth get this technology? Are we next? And their voices shake not because they are angry, but because they are terrified. For centuries, the council believed humans were a young species, emotional but harmless, capable but limited, noisy but small. But now all their diplomatic arrogance feels like a joke, because humans were never weak, they were simply quiet. The VYR Dominion reacts with confusion and rage. In their central command fortress, built inside the hollow of a dead moon, their generals slam fists on stone tables, shouting at screens, "How can ships disappear from scanners? Find their design records. Scan every database," and their AI systems return nothing except 2 words repeated in different languages: unknown class. VYR scientists show holograms of human ships bending light, their surfaces absorbing scans, engines leaving no radiation signature, shapes folding like they are made of gravity instead of metal, and the generals scream in disbelief, "This is not possible." But the truth burns deeper. They believed humans were children playing with machines. Now those children have pulled a knife from the dark. The VYR sends scouts to hunt human fleets, thousands of small interceptor ships launched into deep space at high speed, engines glowing like blue fire, cutting through black space toward the last known position of the secret human ships. But as they approach empty coordinates near a silent star, the space around them ripples like water touched by wind. One scout pilot speaks into his mic, "I have visual anomaly." But before he finishes, his ship splits into 6 pieces without sound, like someone erased the metal at the molecular level, and the broken pieces dissipate into dust. Other scouts scream in panic, turning engines to maximum power, trying to escape the invisible knives cutting space. But one by one, ships fall apart silently, their pieces swallowed by darkness, no flames, no explosions, only fragments dissolving into emptiness. Across the galaxy, billions watch the scout deaths live, because VYR broadcast everything to show their strength. But this time the broadcast turns into their humiliation, their pride crushed in front of every species. The council goes silent, not out of respect, but out of shock. One ambassador whispers slowly, "Humans are using space as a weapon," and another answers with trembling lips, "No civilization in history has ever done that." Human fleets continue moving, no radio, no threats, only black ships sliding through space like shadows. Their designs are unnatural, sharp edges bending inward like claws, surfaces covered with thin lines of blue energy pulsing like veins, and symbols engraved near their hull numbers, not human writing, but curves and shapes that look older, alien. That detail spreads rumors like poison. Humans did not build these ships alone. Humans found old technology. Humans unlocked something hidden, and the galaxy begins to fear what else Earth is hiding. Inside the Council Research Lab, a group of scientists examine leaked satellite photos showing humans digging deep under Titan's surface decades ago. Giant excavators pulling out something buried in ice for millions of years, and one scientist says softly, "This changes evolution." The Council archives reveal classified reports. 40 years ago, human explorers discovered an artifact under Titan's frozen crust, a structure made from unknown alloy and marked with patterns that match the symbols found on human ships today. The Council ignored the report then, thinking humans exaggerated, claiming Earth always tries to look important. But now that old arrogance feels like a fatal mistake. The masked commander in Antarctica watches old photos too, his eyes slowly closing because he remembers Titan, the freezing wind, the ancient structure glowing when human touch activated it, and he remembers one scientist who cried and said, "We have found a language older than stars." The fleet reaches their next target, a VYR listening fortress floating above a magma world. The fortress detects human ships too late. The alarms start, unknown vessels approaching. Activate shielding. Charge torpedoes. Soldiers run through stone corridors carved with VYR symbols. Engines roar, shield barriers flash into life like green walls, and generals give orders believing their defense can survive anything. The human fleet fires again. No light, no sound, no visible force. Only a distortion spreading through space like a ripple moving through glass. Everything inside the ripple slows, molecules stretching apart like time itself is breaking, metal bending without touching, walls collapsing inward like they turned into sand, and the entire fortress implodes into a tiny dark dot that vanishes. Again, no explosion, no radiation, no floating debris, only empty space where thousands of soldiers lived seconds ago. Across the galaxy, screens show the implosion in slow motion, people holding their breath, hearts pounding, minds refusing to believe that a city-sized fortress vanished without effort. On alien homeworlds, children ask their parents, "Are humans monsters?" And parents cannot answer, because the truth scares them. Humans are not monsters. Humans are angry. Anger is colder than cruelty. The VYR Dominion sends desperate messages, pretending diplomacy. "Earth, we regret this conflict. Let us speak," but Earth does not answer. No channel opens. No leader responds. The masked commander stands in silence, watching orbital scans show the fortress gone. He remembers faces from Alios 9, children smiling in classrooms, miners working for future colonies, old women planting trees on new soil, and his voice breaks slightly, too soft for microphones. They deserved life. An officer hears him and tears fall quietly, but she continues her duty. In the council hall, leaders meet again. Their voices weaker now, no shouting, only fear. One speaks slowly, If humans turn this weapon against us, we have no defense. And another shakes his head, they won't. Humans do not kill without reason. But nobody knows if that faith is truth or illusion. The mysterious fleet takes position at the edge of the VYR inner space, a line that the VYR believed no enemy could cross. Their most powerful stations sit here, covering their central empire like rings of fire. The VYR Emperor, a massive creature with grey armor fused into flesh, speaks for the first time on broadcast, voice echoing like drums. Humans, you are brave but foolish. You cannot defeat the VYR Dominion, and billions hear his roar, but humans give no reply. Instead, something unexpected happens. Human ships project the names of every person who died on Alios, 9 in giant white holographic letters across space. A roll of names like endless starlight, thousands of children, miners, students, workers, explorers. The galaxy watches, names move slowly like tears falling across the stars. Even alien soldiers on VYR ships feel their hearts shift because they see not numbers, not armies, not war, they see people. The masked commander's voice rises in the human fleet radio, calm and sharp like a blade in the dark. You killed our children. We kill your empire, and that message is transmitted everywhere, across all frequencies, across all species, across all languages. Billions hear it. It does not sound like pride. It does not sound like power. It sounds like a broken promise, a promise for justice. The galaxy freezes in absolute stillness. No one moves. No one breathes. The VYR Emperor opens his mouth to reply, but before he speaks, the human commander gives his final order: delete their star. The order delete their star travels through the human fleet like a cold wind passing through metal corridors, and every ship's core shifts from silent blue to deep crimson, a color that reflects inside the helmets of the pilots, inside the hearts of the soldiers, and inside the eyes of the commanders who stand in darkness. The masked commander does not raise his voice, does not show rage. His tone is flat like someone reading a quiet truth, and that flatness is more terrifying than screaming. On every screen inside the underground command bunker in Antarctica, the VYR Dominion star burns bright. A golden sun that has fed trillions of lives for thousands of years, shining across more than 60 systems linked by warp channels, and for the first time in their brutal history, that sun becomes a target. The galaxy watches through millions of live feeds, cameras shaking as reporters whisper, humans are going to attack a star, and their voices tremble like children saying something forbidden. No species has ever tried this, because stars are sacred in science and religion, the beginning of life, the source of light, and the heart of galaxy maps. Destroying a star is not war, it is rewriting existence. But humans do not see the star as holy. They see the star as a beating heart of murderers who burned Alios 9. For them, that star is the machine that powered evil. The fleet positions itself at impossible range, distance that makes every scientist scream, no weapon can reach from here, but human ships do not follow known limits. Their weapon, called the Star Lance, is not a beam, not a laser, not a missile. It is collapse, a thin line of unknown energy that bends space-time, carrying power through shortcuts humans learned from the artifact on Titan. The masked commander raises one hand slowly and closes it into a fist. On his command screen, a small line flashes in white, connecting the human fleet to the star like a thread drawn in darkness. Then he speaks one word: fire. A silent vibration pulses, no explosion, no sound, only a ripple traveling faster than light through folded dimensions, unseen by eyes, unrecordable by common senses. And then, the VYR star blinks. Just one blink, like a tired eye closing and opening. That blink is enough to change everything. The star dims. Its golden fire shifts to a pale white, then flickers like a candle under wind. Systems connected to it feel the pulse. Power stations crash, warp channels collapse into sparks, cities lose gravity stabilization, shields fall like broken glass, soldiers float mid-air, commanders scream in horror, our star is dying. The galaxy goes silent, screens showing the star shrinking at the edges, waves of unstable plasma throwing massive arcs into space. People who have lived under that sun their entire life look at the skies of their home planets, seeing the light change color, shadows becoming longer, air becoming colder, and a fear older than any war rises inside them. The fear that creation itself is collapsing. Children cry inside underground shelters, not because they understand physics, but because every animal instinct in every living being knows that stars are life. The council chambers fill with whispers. Humans did it. They touched the star. And leaders stand frozen, powerless spectators of something they swore could never happen. The VYR Emperor roars into the broadcast, voice breaking with terror hidden under pride. Humans, stop. Speak to us. His voice shakes the hall built inside the dead moon, but the human fleet does not answer. Silence is their only language now. The masked commander watches the star dimming on his screen, and behind the reflection of dying light, he sees the face of his daughter from Alios 9, laughing in sunlight near a lake, touching flowers on a new world, believing in the future. That memory stabs him like a blade every second, and that pain drives his decisions like a dark engine. An officer beside him tries to speak, her voice weak. Sir, if we collapse their star fully, billions will die who never touched Alios 9. The commander does not turn his head. He keeps watching the screen and answers slowly. War does not choose only the guilty. The guilty chose war. His sentence hurts the officer's heart, tears collected in her eyes, but she knows he speaks from deep brokenness. On VYR planets, chaos explodes. Without the star's stable energy, storms burn across atmospheres, oceans boil from rapid temperature change, mountains shake from magnetic collapse, and cities fall into darkness. Families hug each other in temples, praying to old gods carved into stone, hoping that gods can stop science. Soldiers on space stations remove helmets and stare at the star glowing weakly, not as warriors, but as children facing punishment they never imagined. Across the galaxy, watchers understand that humanity crossed a line that no one ever dared to cross. Not out of greed, not out of power hunger, but out of pain. The death of Alios 9 did not just break human hearts, it broke their fear. And a species without fear is the most dangerous force in the universe. In council broadcasts, ambassadors debate in horror, Earth must stop. Send a peace fleet. We must negotiate, but the council remembers every insult they gave humans, every restriction, every laughter when humans asked for fair borders, every time they denied human colony rights. Now they know the truth. A quiet species is not weak. It simply hides storms instead of showing rain. On the battlefield, the star collapses further. Observers see its surface shaking like a dying heartbeat, plasma jets exploding into space like veins bursting. The masked commander looks down for the first time, and his voice lowers, softer. We do not erase for pleasure. We erase for memory. A young pilot aboard the lead ship listens to that voice and whispers to himself, I lost my brother on Alios 9. This is for him. But even in revenge, something breaks inside these soldiers. They watch billions suffer for the actions of a few monsters, and it bends their souls into shapes that will never return to peace. That is the price of retaliation. The victims become steel, and steel never cries in public. The VYR Emperor sends another desperate message. This time his words shake with a mix of fear and regret. Earth, we miscalculated. We did not understand your silence. We offer talks. We offer life. Stop the star. He lowers his head, something VYR emperors have never done in history, not even when fighting ancient rivals. The galaxy watches, stunned, because the VYR Dominion never bows. The masked commander hears the message in his bunker. Officers stare at him, waiting, hoping he will stop the collapse, hoping humanity will accept surrender and protect innocent lives. Moments pass. He stays silent. He sees one image in his mind. Burnt houses on Alios 9, a small drawing made by a child on a wall that survived the explosion, showing a family standing together under a yellow sun. His heart hardens again. Fire again, he says. The officers obey, because in war, following orders is a prayer for survival. The star lance fires once more, a silent thread passing through dimensions, touching the star's heart. The star convulses like a dying animal, light exploding into violent white arcs, magnetic fields tearing apart, and shockwaves ripping through space like invisible hurricanes. Every VYR ship's shield collapses, engines die, scanners break, Gravity plates fail. Soldiers float helplessly. Planets shake like drums under the pulse. Billions scream without sound in the vacuum of broadcasts. And the galaxy watches death that nobody thought possible. A star breaking. Suddenly, something unexpected happens. The star does not explode fully. It stabilizes halfway, becoming a ghost sun, half alive, half dead. Darkness covers huge parts of the VYR empire, systems losing energy forever, planets falling cold like winter graves. The collapse stops not by mercy, but by physics reaching limits humans do not control fully. The masked commander looks at the frozen image of the star, strange, cracked, glowing weakly like a dying lantern. He turns away and walks into shadows. His steps are slow, heavy, like someone carrying mountains on his back. He knows what he has done, he knows he has killed millions, and he knows history will never clean his hands. But in his heart he hears one voice, his daughter saying, "Papa, the sun always comes back," and that memory is the only warmth left in him. On the battlefield, VYR military breaks into chaos. Commanders scream, calling units, protect the core planets. But their systems are collapsing, warp routes broken, fuel depots frozen, whole armies scattered. The VYR Emperor does not speak now. He sits on his throne made of old bones, eyes staring at the dying star, realizing he declared war thinking humans would beg for mercy. Instead, humans removed the sky above his empire. In council chambers, silence becomes heavy like stone. One ambassador finally speaks with a trembling voice, "Humans will not stop now. They will erase everything," and another whispers, terrified, "If they can kill stars, what hope does anyone have?" But something begins to change. Not in the council, not in the VYR Dominion, but inside the galaxy's normal people, farmers, workers, scientists, children. They watch recordings from Alios, 9 collected by reporters. Families building houses, planting trees, opening schools, preparing festivals, and the moment of attack shows everything turning to fire. People across species cry while watching strangers die. They understand that the VYR Dominion did not just destroy a human colony, they destroyed hope. And when hope dies, the universe becomes dark. The masked commander returns to his command chair, his face hidden behind the mask, his hands steady. He looks at his officers. "We target the central citadel next," he says. "We do not talk. We do not explain. We let our fallen speak through action." But before he can give the final strike orders, a message arrives from deep space. A strange encrypted signal, old frequency, older language. Technicians pale when they decode it. 3 words appear in ancient script, "You are not alone." The entire bunker freezes. The commander looks closely. The symbols match the shapes engraved on the artifact found on Titan. Something older than humanity is speaking. Something that saw the star collapse. Something that knows what humans awakened. The commander's heart shakes, not with fear, but with a chilling realization. Humanity did not invent the weapon alone. They finished something someone else started long before humans were born. And that someone might still be watching. Officer voices break the silence. "Sir, who sent this?" The commander answers quietly, "The enemy behind our enemy." Outside, VYR space burns under a broken sun, and billions stare upward at dying light like prisoners of fate. Inside the human fleet, engines power forward, ships forming a spear pointed at the VYR capital, carrying grief like fuel and revenge like gravity. The galaxy holds its breath again, waiting for the next strike, waiting for the next truth, waiting to see what humans will destroy next. But deep in the shadows of reality, something else awakens. Not VYR. Not human. Something older that fears humans now, because humans touched its secret. And that something begins to whisper through the ancient signal, "They will fear what comes after you." The masked commander hears the whisper through static, and for the first time in this war, his voice does not sound like a weapon. It sounds like prophecy. He whispers back with a voice heavy as worlds, "You feared our anger. Soon, you will fear our peace." The ancient message pulses through the command bunker like a slow heartbeat, a soft repeating echo on dead frequencies, 3 words written in symbols older than any human language. You are not alone, glowing on every screen, shaking the minds of the officers who stare at it with eyes wide open, because it feels less like a warning and more like a memory, something left behind, something waiting. The masked commander stands still, his hands hanging at his sides like stone, breathing silent air filled with fear. No one wants to speak, and the world around him feels frozen, everything quiet except the slow, vibrating hum of the Black Fleet preparing for the next strike. Every officer knows what it means when ancient messages arrive during war. Someone unseen, someone hidden in the shadows of history, has been watching this fight long before Alios 9 died. The commander slowly raises his head, looking at the glowing symbols, his voice thin, heavy. Who else knows this language? No one answers. Officers search old archives fast, fingers shaking over holographic keys, pulling files from decades ago, from Titan, from the frozen caves where the artifact slept under ice thicker than mountains, until one image appears. The engraved ring found under Titan's crust, circles of symbols that match the 3 words glowing on screen. The bunker loses its air, people forgetting to breathe. A scientist whispers the truth that everyone feels but refuses to say. The artifact was not dead, it was listening. The commander's mask hides his face, but his eyes behind the visor close for a moment, and memory returns like a storm. Titan's freezing winds hitting his suit. The ancient chamber glowing with soft blue light when human hands touched it. The symbols warming like a machine waking, and the scientist crying, "This technology is not human, but it understands us." Back in the present, the message repeats again, slow like a heartbeat in the dark, and a feeling spreads through the bunker. The war with the VYR is not the final story. It is the first chapter of something bigger, something older, something sharper than all wars humans ever fought. But that revelation does not stop the pain burning inside every soldier. Outside the bunker, the shattered light of the dying VYR star reaches across thousands of systems like a ghost sun. Its pale glow bending shadows on VYR planets, turning their cities into dim caves of panic, their oceans into black mirrors reflecting the broken sky. The people of the VYR Dominion look up from their streets, their factories, their temples, their ships floating without power, their faces covered in fear, because the light that raised them since birth has become cold. They do not know the science, they do not know human weapons, they only know one ancient feeling: stars are eternal, and now their star is dying. The collapse sends violent shockwaves through space, tearing warp tunnels, ripping space into scars of distortion, breaking VYR communication systems, turning their empire into scattered islands of darkness. A mother holds her child under the cracked ceiling of a frozen bunker and whispers old stories into its ears. Stories of the first VYR who touched fire. Stories of light born from darkness. Stories that have nothing to do with war. Stories the child will never understand because now the world is dying. Soldiers in armor kneel on the floors of broken stations, hands shaking, looking out into the void where their star bleeds pale light. Their pride crushed into dust. Because they were raised to believe no one could break the VYR. No one could challenge their dominion, no one could burn the sky above them. Until humans arrived, silent and unstoppable like shadows of forgotten gods. On Earth, billions watch the distant star collapse on screens with eyes full of tears and hearts full of pain. Because they see 2 things at once: the justice for Alios 9 and the horror of destroying a son. People who lost family on Alios 9 feel relief mixed with sadness, because revenge never brings back smiles. It only creates a quiet space where grief becomes heavier and heavier until a soul collapses like a star. In the streets of Earth cities, people place candles on sidewalks, not to celebrate, but to remember. A father stands with a candle in his hand in front of a memorial filled with pictures from Alios 9. Pictures of his wife, pictures of his son playing with a small blue robot toy, and his tears fall silently, because stars and love feel the same, bright until someone puts darkness over them. In the bunker, the masked commander sees a screen showing the same memorial. Faces he knew, people he shook hands with, children he promised safety when Alios 9 was founded. He remembers a speech he gave years ago, the day the colony opened, when he said, "Alios 9 is our second sunrise, and now that sunrise is gone forever." The message repeats once more, "You are not alone." Everyone hears it differently. Soldiers hear warning. Scientists hear curiosity. The commander hears destiny. He turns from the screen, looks at the star map glowing on the table, the red blocks marking every VYR world under darkness, every planet losing its future, every child who did nothing to deserve pain. For the first time since Alios 9 fell, his voice breaks with a thin crack, like a man who lost everything but still stands. We did this. Officers look at him, not knowing if he regrets or stands proud. He continues, we killed their sky. No one answers. No one knows how to answer. Because revenge is a weapon that cuts two hearts, the enemy's and your own. His eyes drift back to the message. You are not alone. He whispers, are they talking to us or warning us? The bunker falls into silence so deep it feels like space itself. The fleet outside moves slowly toward the heart of the VYR Dominion, the capital citadel system, protected by 5 rings of planetary shields, millions of soldiers, and ancient weapons carved from black suns. But now none of those defenses matter. Without the star, without power, without hope, the citadel is a giant tomb floating in space. Yet humans move forward not with pride, but with heavy steps, each engine pulse like a heartbeat full of ghosts. Council broadcasts show the human fleet advancing across broken space, their black metal surfaces reflecting dying starlight like blades dipped in ash. People across dozens of species watch with mixed emotions, fear of human strength, respect for human loyalty, sorrow for the dead, and awe for the silence humans fight with. In a council bar hidden behind the main hall, 2 alien diplomats drink together without speaking. One finally whispers, humans did the impossible. The other replies, if they can break stars, could they save them? That question spreads through the galaxy faster than any weapon. Maybe humans are not destroyers. Maybe humans are starbreakers and star healers. Maybe humans unlocked something that can erase or create suns. And if that is true, what is humanity becoming? In the VYR Emperor's throne room, the Emperor sits alone, war armor cracked, skin burned by shockwaves, the dying light of the star reflecting in his 4 eyes, each eye holding a different emotion: fear, regret, pride, confusion. He whispers to himself, we thought we understood power, and looks at the sky, but humans understand pain. His generals kneel beside him, broken armor falling piece by piece, their voices small for the first time in their life. What do we do now? The Emperor answers slowly, we face judgment. His voice is not rage, not hate, but something deeper, acceptance of a truth written in the ashes of Alios 9. Far from the VYR citadel, a lone VYR scout ship hums on emergency power, floating like a dying insect in space. Inside sits a young VYR pilot, staring at the broken sun through a cracked window. He listens to quiet music recorded from his home world, a soft melody sung by children during festivals, voices filled with hope. Tears fall from his eyes, because he knows those songs will never be sung again. The human fleet prepares to fire again, charging their black cores, energy pulsing like stars hidden in metal cages. But just as the final sequence begins, a massive surge hits every human ship. The ancient signal grows in strength, filling screens with symbols chaining into longer sentences, lines of curved shapes forming paragraphs, showing mathematical patterns that match the star collapse, showing designs that look like blueprints for something much larger, something that can tear suns or build them. The commander stares, his mind trapped between pain and revelation, because he sees what the message means. Humans did not invent the weapon. Humans followed instructions left by someone older than stars. And that someone just woke up. All engines stop. All weapons freeze. Officers scream, what's happening? Screens fill with symbols like rain, and one line translates into human code. Simple, sharp like truth. Do not erase what you did not create. The bunker feels like a tomb filled with whispers of cosmic history. The commander's heart shakes in his chest like a drum, his breath slow, heavy, controlled, and he whispers back to the message like talking to a ghost, who are you? The message answers with 3 words that make every soul cold, the first makers. The bunker breaks into chaos, scientists crying, soldiers shaking, because the myth just became reality. The first makers, the rumored species that shaped galaxies before life evolved on Earth, the ones who built the artifacts, the ones who vanished into darkness. And now they speak to humans. The masked commander understands the truth that cuts deeper than star-breaking weapons. The VYR Dominion is not the real enemy. They are just pawns in a much larger war, a war older than history, between creators and survivors. Humans fired the first strike without knowing the real battlefield. And someone ancient is watching, judging. The commander looks at the broken star, glowing weakly like a dying heart, and for the first time since Alios 9 fell, his voice regains warmth, a thin flame of something forgotten, mercy. He turns to his officers and whispers, "Stop fire." The screens flicker, engines cool, weapons dim. The entire galaxy watches, breathing again, because when humans stop, the universe shakes less. Soldiers on VYR worlds cry into their armor. Families hold each other under broken light, and hope returns like a thin line of sunrise through black clouds. Council chambers stand frozen in awe, because they witness something they never expected. Humans choosing to stop even when they could erase everything. The commander lowers his head, whispering to himself, "We punished, but we will not become them." And his eyes close, seeing Alios 9 one last time, seeing children laughing in sunlight, seeing love. Deep in ancient space, a whisper fades, "You learned." The galaxy stands still, silent like a painting, every star watching one broken sun and one species that cracked it open, humans. And now a new question rises like dawn. If humans can break stars and stop themselves, what are they capable of when they fight not for revenge, but for peace? The masked commander sits in darkness, his voice a thread connecting two cosmic truths. They feared our anger. Soon, they will fear our peace. The human fleet hangs in the darkness of space like a frozen storm, engines silent, weapon cores dimming from glowing red to deep blue, shadows reflecting the broken light of the dying VYR star. Everything stands still, the galaxy, the council chambers, the reporters on neutral stations, the millions watching from distant planets, all waiting to understand why humanity stopped when they stood one step away from complete destruction. Inside the underground command bunker under Antarctica, red lights turn soft blue again. Screens stabilize from the vibrating symbols of the ancient message to clear holographic star maps. Officers stand like statues, their minds still hearing the fading echo of the words the first makers, like a ghost whispering from the beginning of the universe. The masked commander slowly lowers his hand from the control platform, his heartbeat loud in his ears, not from fear but from the realization that revenge accidentally opened a door into something humans never imagined, ancient eyes watching from beyond time. He feels his chest burning, not the fire of war, but the weight of responsibility, the weight of history, the weight of all souls lost and all souls saved in one moment. His voice, low and steady, breaks the silence, opens sector scans. Find the prison stations. No one expected those words. Officers look at him with confusion, scared to question. The commander continues, his tone sharp like his decision. "We showed the galaxy our anger. Now we show them why." Outside the bunker, in deep black space, the human fleet shifts formation, black ships turning toward the outer rings of the VYR Dominion, engines humming like the slow growl of a waking machine. The VYR star struggles to breathe light, its surface fractured like broken glass melting into fire, but the galaxy's eyes no longer focus on the dying sun. They follow the human fleet with confusion. Why target prison sectors now? Council screens flash updated coordinates. Dozens of VYR prison stations marked red across far edges of their empire, built on abandoned moons, hidden inside orbital slums, buried under ice worlds, forgotten by history. The council ambassador from a small bird-like species whispers, "They are not attacking cities. They are attacking prisons." Another ambassador replies with trembling wings, "Maybe they learned something from the ancient message." But the truth is simpler. The commander knew something long before the council did. Intelligence reports collected during Alios 9 reconstruction showed missing children from 20 different alien colonies over the last 40 years, disappearing without trace, every record ending near VYR space. The world ignored it, until Alios 9 died. Humans did not stop because of mercy alone. They stopped because they finally remembered what they fight for. The living, not the dead. The fleet reaches the first station, an enormous ring built around a dead moon, shaped like a rusted cage floating in darkness. No signals come from inside, no defenses activate, No soldiers answer. Power is gone since the star collapse. The station drifts with zero gravity like a tomb built for forgotten souls. Human Marines in black armor launch small silent shuttles that glide toward the station like shadows crossing the moon's surface. Inside the shuttle, soldiers sit locked in harnesses, hands tight around railguns, hearts beating with two emotions fighting each other: hatred for the VYR and fear for what they are about to see. One soldier, helmet reflecting the broken star behind him, whispers to his partner, "Maybe nobody survived inside." His partner replies, "Even one life is reason enough." The shuttle hooks to the station's exterior hull. Sparks of cutting tools slice the metal quietly, and the door falls inward like a broken rib. Cold darkness breathes out. Flashlights cut through floating dust, pieces of metal drifting slowly like frozen tears. The Marines move through corridors painted with scars, chains, blood marks, broken walls, strange carved symbols showing VYR dominance. The smell of metal and death fills their helmets, even through filters. They pass sleeping cells, empty, silent, hopeless. Then they hear something, a faint knock, a soft rhythm, like someone too weak to scream. Soldiers freeze. Weapons rise. One Marine whispers, "Sound from below." They move deeper, gravity plates dead, bodies floating slightly above the floor, air thin, filters struggling. The knocking returns, stronger now, like someone fighting to stay alive. They reach a sealed door covered in VYR symbols, written with a cruel pride, and break it open. Inside the room, small bodies sit together, shaking, their eyes huge in the flashlight glow. Alien children, different colors, different shapes, all bones and fear, all naked hope wrapped in thin blankets. The youngest cries when light touches her, not because she fears humans, but because she thought darkness was the only thing left in the universe. A human Marine drops his weapon in shock. His knees hit the floor. Tears burst from his eyes before he can stop them. He whispers through helmet comms, voice breaking like a man seeing his own child alive after war, "We found them." The commander hears it in the bunker. His shoulders drop. His head lowers. For a moment, he is not a war monster carrying cosmic weapons. He is a father who lost children and just found someone's child alive. On the station, soldiers move fast, cutting open more sealed rooms, finding more children. Hundreds at first, then thousands, malnourished, shaking, eyes full of trauma older than their age. Some are so weak they cannot stand. One small girl with silver skin tries to walk toward a Marine, falls halfway, and he runs to catch her, holding her like she is made of starlight, whispering, "You are safe now," his voice trembling. She touches his helmet with two tiny fingers, voice soft like air, "Are you, from the light?" He cannot answer. His throat closes. He hugs her, shielding her from the cold. The soldiers discover older prisoners too, mothers with lost eyes, fathers too weak to move, scientists from unknown worlds, even council diplomats long believed dead. They carried suffering in silence while the galaxy argued politics. They cry when they hear the words, "We are human soldiers. You are free." Some collapse from emotion, not weakness. The Marines carry them out like precious seeds in a dying world. Cameras on helmets broadcast everything live. And the galaxy sees the truth. Alios 9 was not the first crime. The VYR Dominion was kidnapping children and adults from 20 species, using them for experiments to steal life, to extend their own lifespan, to buy immortality through suffering. Every person watching across the galaxy feels something explode inside. Anger deeper than fear, rage deeper than shock. People who hated humans yesterday now scream for human victory. Council screens flood with messages, "Finish the VYR, justice for the children, Earth was right," and even species who feared human power now support it. Because the truth is stronger than politics, innocence matters more than borders. Council ambassadors stand silent, eyes wet, throats tight. They see every child, every mother, every shaking hand carried by human soldiers, and they whisper old regrets. "We should have listened when they warned us." The masked commander watches the live stream, his gloved hand curled on the table so tight his knuckles turn white. His heart, frozen by war and ancient messages, cracks open. He sees a small boy with blue eyes held by a marine, crying into armor, and he remembers his daughter's blue eyes on Alios 9. He turns away from the screen, not because he is strong, but because if he keeps watching, his mask will crack and show the world a broken human, a father undone by pain. Officers do not speak. Some cover their mouths to hide sobs. Humanity, the silent monster of this war, becomes something else in that moment, the savior of someone else's children. On the VYR worlds, the soldiers watch the broadcasts too. Their armor feels heavier than mountains. Their breath stop. They see cages built by their empire, and for the first time in centuries, they collapse to their knees, not because of fear of humans, but because of shame. A VYR boy in military training sees the children and throws his war medal into fire, small hands shaking. He whispers, "We are wrong." The VYR emperor, sitting on his throne surrounded by broken glass from the ancient window overlooking the dying star, stares at the screen. The image of children blurs through his old eyes. His voice cracks like old stone breaking, "What have we done?" His generals stand around him, silent, broken, their shadows long under pale starlight. They do not scream. They do not argue. They do not deny. They face the truth. The VYR Dominion is not the empire of warriors they pretended to be. It is the empire of thieves stealing childhood from the universe. Back in the bunker, the commander finally speaks, voice soft like a bruise, "Show the galaxy why we fight." His order sends all recovered footage across every frequency in the galaxy. Screens everywhere, from luxury halls to small huts under alien skies, show children hugging human soldiers, mothers crying into human arms, humans giving their water and food without asking who these aliens are or where they come from. Humanity becomes the hand lifting someone from darkness, not the hammer breaking stars. The galaxy's opinion shifts like gravity reversing. Where they once saw danger, they now see a protector. Where they once feared human silence, they now understand it. Silence was grief. Silence was love burning cold. Silence was humanity holding its scream until the right target appeared. Across millions of worlds, people speak the same sentence in different languages, "Earth fights for us." The Council emergency session begins. For the first time in history, every species except the VYR votes together without a fight. The decision passes with no resistance: support Earth. Fleets from 20 species move toward human coordinates, not as invaders, but as allies for justice. A symbol appears on screens, 20 flags surrounding one human flag in the center. Officers in the bunker see the symbol and stand without orders, their chests lifting, their hands tightening into fists not of anger, but of purpose. The commander sees the symbol and closes his eyes. He remembers Alios 9 again, but this time not the fire. He remembers a little girl in school uniform hugging her parents before going to class, her smile bigger than the sun, a simple moment now more powerful than stars. He opens his eyes. The ancient message, "You are not alone," returns in his mind. He understands it differently now. It is not just about cosmic creators watching. It is about the galaxy standing together, a million lives becoming one voice. He looks at the map and speaks a sentence that will echo in history like thunder across time. "We end the empire, not the innocent. We destroy the cages, not the sky." His voice shakes officers. Those words turn human fury into human justice. The fleet moves toward the next prison station. Soldiers prepare. Engines thunder. The galaxy watches with hearts on fire. Parents hold their children closer. Survivors of other wars feel hope return. Even the VYR civilians underground whisper old prayers, hoping humans will destroy the monsters above them, not them. Under the broken star, the VYR emperor lowers his head and gives the first honest order in generations: open all prisons. Surrender all children. His voice is not pride. It is apology, heavy, late, but real. The galaxy sees it. For the first time in thousands of years, the VYR bow to justice. Human Marines continue to save lives like they are made of gold. People see the truth living in every soldier's hands. Humans are deadly when angry, unstoppable when grieving, but unmatched when protecting the weak. Deep in the bunker, the commander whispers alone, "We punish the killers, His voice cracks painfully as he looks at screens full of rescued children. Now we protect the lost. His hand touches the screen where a small alien girl smiles in a blanket eating food a human soldier gave her. His eyes close with tears hidden behind the mask. Outside, the galaxy stands still, watching Earth not as destroyer, but as defender. And the ancient whisper returns faintly through silent space, not threatening this time, but almost gentle. They feared your anger. Now, they will follow your peace. The human fleet lights engines, carrying thousands of rescued children, like stars returning to the sky after midnight. Billions watch. No one breathes. The war is no longer about Alios 9 only. It is about every child who deserves sunrise. The human fleet travels through broken space, engines glowing like red hearts beating against the darkness left by the dying VYR star. Thousands of rescued children sleep inside medical bays, wrapped in thermal blankets, breathing slowly, their small chests rising and falling like fragile hopes returning to life. Human doctors move without rest, eyes red, hands steady, whispering soft words to children who do not understand the language but understand kindness. Soldiers stand guard around every medical pod, railguns ready, faces tense not from fear of enemy fire, but from the fear of losing any life they just saved. In the command bunker under Antarctica, the masked commander watches live feeds of every child rescued by human marines. Faces of different species, different colors, different shapes, all with the same eyes. Eyes that saw too much pain for their age. His heart breaks every time he sees a small hand reaching to hold a soldier's fingers. He remembers his daughter's small hands holding his uniform on Alios 9 and the last moment he saw her alive, smiling before running toward a school built under blue sky. His fists close slowly, pain turning into iron. Around him, officers study star maps, working without breath, scanning the VYR Dominion for remaining prison stations. And then, one signal appears, an unusual energy pulse from a deep sector of VYR space. A sector marked black on every council record because no warp channels work there. Officers zoom in, faces confused, because energy readings are strange, unstable, bending gravity differently, creating ripples like something living inside space-time. The commander steps closer, eyes locked on the glowing point. "What is this sector?" he asks. The senior analyst answers in a shaking voice, "Sir, this sector was never VYR controlled. It is shadow space, unexplored, rumored cursed." Engineers search through ancient archives stolen from VYR networks, decrypting files that use strange symbols, not pure VYR language. They find one phrase repeated in different forms, Etherix Gate. The room freezes. The commander's heart slows in his chest. He has never heard this name, but it feels heavy, older than anything in this war. "Translate," he orders. Analysts work fast, matching the word with ancient codes, old myths, broken texts found in lost ruins. The translation appears one line at a time like blood dripping, the unseen ones, the whisper in minds, those who manipulate without touch, they guide dominions, they break species before they rise. Silence hits harder than any explosion. Officers stare at the screen, unable to speak. One young strategist whispers what everyone fears. "Sir, VYR were not acting alone." The commander closes his eyes, remembering the moment the VYR Emperor begged for mercy, his voice broken by the images of rescued children. He remembers every angry word he shouted inside his soul when Alios 9 fell. Now something inside him breaks again. Not anger, something darker, understanding. The VYR Dominion destroyed Alios 9, but someone else pulled the strings. Someone invisible wanted humans erased before humanity grew too strong. A voice from the corner breaks the silence, an old scientist, hair white, hands shaking as he leans over the table. "I studied the Titan artifact," he says, eyes full of memories no one believed. "We found fragments of Etherix script deep inside it. We thought it was ancient design language, but maybe it was warning." The commander's voice becomes a whisper, warning about what? The scientist looks at him with 1,000 fears behind his pupils, warning about them. On the fleet, the rescued children sleep unaware that the universe is thinning around them. Doctors inject nutrients, Soldiers carry children gently like they are carrying leaves through a burning forest. But out beyond the windows of the ship, space bends slightly, a ripple crawling across the stars like a cold hand touching glass. In the council chambers, ambassadors argue in panic. Who are the Ethrix? Why did they hide? What do they want? The council AI tries to calculate probabilities, projecting scenarios of species manipulation, hidden wars across centuries, sudden disappearances of civilizations long thought extinct. Ancient history becomes a map of invisible scars. One ambassador whispers the truth everyone feels. We were never alone, even when we couldn't see them. The VYR Emperor receives the same decrypted file through emergency channels. He reads the name Ethrix and drops the data pad from his hands. His face turns pale under blue star residue. He remembers small shadow shapes in his dreams, whispers in his mind when he made the decision to destroy Alios 9. Words that felt like his own thoughts guiding him. They will rise. Stop them now. He believed it was strategic instinct. Now he understands something horrific. Those whispers were not his. They were invisible claws inside his mind. He screams into the empty throne room, voice shaking stone walls. We were their weapon. His generals stand stunned, armor shaking. One old general, scars across his face like history carved into flesh, whispers, "We killed children, because shadows told us to." No one knows how to reply. Shame becomes a black hole inside every VYR heart. In the bunker, the commander orders the fleet to change course toward the Ethrix Gate. Even though the children need safety, humanity cannot allow the invisible enemy to hide behind VYR ruins. If they can bend minds, manipulate entire empires, erase species quietly, then they are the real killers of Alios 9. The galaxy watches the course change with terror and respect. Commentators whisper on live channels. Humans are going to face something older than the VYR. Hundreds of ships from allied species follow behind Earth's fleet, their captains silent, knowing they are following humans into hell because if humans fail, the next colony burned will be theirs. In the medical bay, a small girl opens her eyes, confused by silence. She sees a human soldier sitting beside her pod, armor black, helmet on his knees, tears drying on his face. She reaches out and touches his cheek. "Why are you crying?" she asks. He looks at her small fingers on his skin and answers with a broken smile, "Because you are alive." She hugs his arm weakly, her tiny voice shaking. "I dreamed the sun died." He whispers, "Not our sun." Deep inside the VYR Emperor's moon fortress, ancient fear becomes truth. The Ethrix did not vanish. They evolved into shadows. They live between reality layers, slipping through thoughts like dreams, twisting decisions until species destroy each other. They never fire weapons. They use minds as cannons. They use fear as fuel. They shape wars from behind veils. And now humanity is on their doorstep. The commander's fleet reaches the edge of the Ethrix sector, a zone where stars look dimmer, space darker, light bends wrong, like gravity is broken and rebuilding itself slowly. No signals work here. No warp route opens. The fleet enters using the Titan codes, the ancient patterns humans found inside the artifact. Ships disappear one by one, swallowed by a space pocket like fish swimming into deep black water. The commander stands on his command bridge, a dark room with only blue light touching his mask, screens showing twisted stars outside, nebulae bending into spirals, shapes impossible to record. His voice is soft. We step into history that does not want to be seen. Officers stare at windows where shadows move without sources, lights flickering like something outside is watching them through mirrors of reality. Suddenly, sensors scream, something massive ahead, a shape bigger than cities, not metal, not stone, alive yet not breathing. A cold silence fills the bridge. Ships slow down. A structure appears, a colossal sphere floating inside darkness, covered in shifting symbols that move like veins under skin. It becomes clear, this is the Ethrix Gate. Not a door. A womb. Something inside it builds thoughts like machines build metal. Something inside whispers into minds. Something inside caused the VYR Dominion to murder children. The commander feels something crawling at the edge of his mind, like someone whispering thoughts that feel like his own. Turn back. Humans cannot win. There is no future ahead. His hands shake. Officers tense. The whispers grow sharper, digging into memories, twisting pain into hopelessness, trying to break the bones of human purpose. Then the screens show something shocking. Every child in the medical bay is awake at the same time, eyes wide open, crying without sound. Their tiny hands reach out, touching the air, as if pushing something away. Doctors scream, holding them, trying to protect them from invisible pressure. The commander hears the cry through comms. Not words, pure pain, pure terror. And then something happens that no ancient species predicted. Human soldiers run into the bays, surrounding children like shields, linking hands, forming a circle of bodies, their minds screaming, "You are safe," with no technology, no training, just love. That love becomes louder than whispers. The commander feels it, the emotional gravity of humanity. Pain becomes a wall. Loss becomes fire. All the grief of Alios 9, all the pain of every soldier who lost family, all the love of every parent in the galaxy who wants their child alive, rises like a sun. The whisper inside him breaks. He stands straight again. His voice returns, sharp like iron pulled from fire. We do not listen to shadows. The Ethrix gate pulses like a heart made from darkness. It tries to crush their wills. But humanity stands. Officers scream into radios, "Protect the children." Every allied ship repeats the same command in different languages. Billions watching screens cry, seeing human soldiers hold children while facing the darkest force the galaxy has ever seen. And something begins to shake inside the ancient darkness. Not rage, not vengeance, fear. The Ethrix never met a species that used pain to protect. They never met a species that turned grief into weapon. They never met humanity. The commander looks at the dark sphere, his eyes burning behind the mask, and whispers the sentence that will echo across stars. You feared our anger. Now, fear our love. The words, "You feared our anger. Now fear our love," echo across every screen inside the human battleship, carried by soft static into the vast pocket of twisted space that surrounds the Ethrix gate. The sentence hangs like a glowing blade made from emotion, not metal. A blade older than war, sharper than rage. The kind of blade that forms when broken hearts become fire. Outside the ship windows, stars no longer look like stars. They look like dying lanterns, flickering under invisible waves, bending into spirals that make space feel like a painting melting slowly. The Ethrix gate pulses again, an impossible structure the size of a small moon. Surfaces shifting, symbols crawling like living veins, forming shapes that hurt eyes to look at. Every pulse shakes the human fleet with a vibration so deep it feels like someone is hammering the soul, not the ship. Officers grip their seats, teeth clenched, whispering without sound, because the pain is not physical. It's memories turning into claws. The commander stands in front of the main window, staring at the sphere floating in darkness, his mask reflecting its ripples like a mirror reflecting nightmares. He feels whispers pushing again, softer now, like someone trying to enter through old wounds instead of new fear, whispering in 1,000 voices that sound like his past. Let go, nothing matters, your child is gone forever. His knees weaken for half a second. Memory stabs his heart, his daughter laughing with open arms on Alios 9, hair blowing in wind, sunlight dancing on her face, her voice soft, "Papa, skies are the biggest toys." That smile breaks the whisper like glass. His heart stands like mountain stone, unmovable. He speaks slowly, each word like a hammer hitting iron. Pain is not weakness. Pain is our power. The whisper recoils, twisting like smoke. Behind the commander, screens show the medical bay. Human soldiers form a circle around the rescued children. Bullets loaded, eyes red from tears and fury. Children hold soldiers' hands, their tiny fingers gripping armor like anchors in a storm, trusting strangers with their lives. Their trust becomes a weapon stronger than any gravity knife. The galaxy watches this moment live, every species, every world, every home, every person who has ever loved someone. There are no politics here, no borders, no flags, only children and humans holding each other against darkness. In the council hall, thousands stand silent, hearts moving like tides. Ambassadors watch with watery eyes. Claws over their mouths, ears folded back in fear and belief, because they see what no story ever showed. Humans crying for children not born on Earth, risking their lives for strangers they never met, trusting love more than weapons. A young ambassador whispers, voice breaking in the silent hall. They are fighting the universe with love in their hands. And that sentence travels through every mind like electricity. No species ever did this before. The Etherix gate shines brighter, lightless light, a glow that hurts reality. Suddenly, space breaks. A massive shape tears out of the sphere like a shadow being born. It is not a ship like humans build. It is a living nightmare made from thought and matter, a structure with thousands of shifting tendrils, each one made of photons and gravity coils, each one whispering through radio waves in languages not spoken by mouths. The thing fills space around the fleet, a shape so large it makes planets feel like pebbles. People in the galaxy scream on screens, breath locked in their throats, hearts beating like war drums. Scientists cry, unable to understand what their eyes show them, because physics died for a moment. The Etherix do not come to talk. They come to end everything. The creature's tendrils reach out, touching space around human ships, bending hull metal like soft clay, twisting cannons into knots without touching them, cutting engines with invisible force. Sensors go blind. AI systems collapse, unable to record shapes that change every second. Human soldiers feel whispers drilling into their minds again. You cannot kill thoughts. You cannot kill fear, but something unexpected happens. Humanity begins to speak back, not with words, with love. The children scream together, not from fear, but from something deeper, a voice that comes from being freed, being held, being saved. Their scream is not horror, it is hope. It rises like a shockwave, hitting human soldiers' minds like sunrise breaking a night sky. Every soldier remembers why they fight. Not medals, not flags, not revenge. They fight for small hands, for tears, for futures, for sunrise on new worlds. The commander hears something like an echo from the medical bay. His daughter's voice, not real, but memory pushing him, "Papa, skies are toys." His heart explodes with pain that turns into pure power, a decision sharper than any weapon humans ever built. He slams his hand onto the command platform. "Activate the Titan code," he orders. Officers stare at him, horror in their eyes. "Sir, Titan code is untested. It could collapse the fleet with the gate." He answers without looking away from the creature outside. "If we die protecting children, we win." That sentence breaks everyone's fear. Officers move like lightning, entering sequences of ancient symbols into the ship's core, shapes discovered inside the Titan artifact decades ago, symbols believed to be designs for cosmic manipulation. The core glows blue, then white, then something unnatural, color that cannot exist. The energy bends space like cloth twisting in wind. The fleet powers up together, ships vibrating in resonance, every black hull glowing with Titan symbols that light up like stars waking. Screens across the galaxy show something impossible. Human ships becoming luminous like constellations with black shadows, each one carrying heartbeats of thousands. The Etherix creature attacks again, its tendrils hitting the fleet like waves hitting cliffs, warping hulls, tearing metal plates from sides, breaking cannons into dust. Soldiers scream but do not fall back. The commander's voice rises over all noise, like thunder inside a metal sky. "For Helios 9. For every child." The Titan code activates. Reality flickers. A ring of unknown energy expands outward from the fleet, not pushing the creature away, but shaking its existence like someone hitting a cracked bell. The creature screams, not through sound, through space itself, a vibration so terrifying it shakes stars thousands of light years away. The galaxy sees stars blinking in fear. The creature tries to collapse the fleet, pulling ships into gravity knots, but the Titan energy refuses to bend. It holds space like a mother holds a child, tight enough to protect, soft enough not to break. And then something happens that no Etherix predicted in millions of years. The children open their eyes, all of them. They stare at the creature through screens, through windows, through tears, and they whisper one word together, even though they speak different languages: stop. A child's voice is the strongest weapon against darkness. The creature freezes, not in body, in mind. It feels something it has never understood: compassion. The very thing it tried to destroy. The human commander sees it, the hesitation, the break in the creature's attack, and orders the final code, now. The Titan code fully activates. Reality bends like a sheet being pulled. A wave of bright energy explodes from the fleet, passing through the creature like wind through smoke, shredding its body of thought and gravity into fragments of light that break apart into smaller pieces, screaming through static until they scatter into the void. The Etherix gate collapses in on itself, symbols burning like stars turning to ash, tendrils folding inward until nothing remains except silence, total silence. No explosion, no debris, no blood, only stillness. The creature is gone. The gate is gone. The whispers are gone. Space becomes calm. Stars straighten back into their shapes, their light normal again. The galaxy watches this moment with hearts frozen, not out of fear, out of awe. Humanity just ended a war older than history. But they do not cheer. They do not celebrate. They do not raise flags. They stand holding children. Billions cry in living rooms, in farms, in bases, in stations orbiting gas giants. They cry because they saw something they never thought real. The last defense against darkness was not nuclear flame, not cosmic weapons, but human love. The fleet glides out of the collapsing pocket of shadow space slowly, like survivors walking out of a burning city. The commander stands silent, looking at space returning to normal, stars glowing softly like they are breathing again. Officers wipe tears from their eyes without shame. Soldiers hug children like family. The galaxy stays still, holding its breath, because history is changing without drums or fanfare. The council broadcast shows the masked commander for the first time, standing in darkness, his face hidden, his voice calm, quiet like a father talking to sleeping children, not a general talking to the galaxy. War is not victory. War is loss measured in silence. We did not come to conquer. We came to protect. The next galaxy we build will be built with peace. His words fall over trillions like gentle rain. The VYR Emperor hears the speech from his broken throne, tears falling for the first time in his long life, whispering to his generals. Humans taught the galaxy what war truly costs. The rescued children sleep safe for the first night in years. Doctors rest against walls, eyes closed, finally breathing without knives in their hearts. Soldiers sit beside children's beds, holding small hands even when they wake from nightmares. The galaxy stands still, silent like a painting, not because it fears humans now, but because it respects them. Billions look at the sky and whisper in different languages the same truth: Earth saved us. The commander watches the stars slowly, hand resting on the window glass. In the reflection, he sees his own eyes behind the mask, tired, broken, alive. He whispers to himself, voice shaking like a secret spoken from the heart to the universe: You feared our anger. Soon, you will fear our peace. And somewhere in deep space, where ancient ruins float in unknown darkness, something older than stars hears that promise, and feels fear for the first time. Because humanity does not need war to change the galaxy. Humanity needs love. And love is the weapon no ancient shadow can defeat.